Hi Giuseppe, could you talk to me around digital experience assurance, because I have no idea how people are now taking these new words when it always just was, just customer experience, right? How are you interpreting it?
Well, some say digital experience assurance is the ultimate dream for all organizations. In essence, for me, it is a concept. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a technology, it's not something you can buy, but it's a concept that a lot of organizations try to achieve. The main objective is, as the name suggests, to deliver consistent quality of experience to digital users, to IT users across all organizations for a whole host of different reasons and motives. So in your experience, what is a good interpretation of DXA, of digital experience assurance?
So I think now everybody wants to have the same experience, whether in the office or whether they're at home or whether they're working in a cafe. From that, the customer, so your employees, obviously have to be able to have the same level of quality. Is that what you're seeing? I'm seeing certainly, a lot of people are experiencing that they want the same level of services they get at home from home working as they do when they come in the office. Is that what you're seeing across your customers?
Yes, I think for me personally, digital experience assurance is yet another evolutionary step. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you remember the times where quality of service wasn't invented and applied. Yeah. The purpose was some traffic was more sensitive and needed different treatment, but the objective was to make people experience better so that the phone calls will work and all that. Later on, we've had a lot of different digital transformations and changes, advent to the cloud, hybrid models and whatnot. The need still remains. So between 2023 and 2024, I've observed the explosion of digital experience monitoring, which is the phase one. You can't fix what you can't see. Yeah. What we see now is organizations realize that their need goes further. It's not just about seeing what goes on or what doesn't work in their network, but having the ability to fix it. And to a certain extent, also to fix it proactively.
Yeah, so I was going to come on to that. I think that's where IT teams now need to start really homing in on, is that proactive aspect. So not just sitting back and being reactive, the old phoning up the service desk to say, my call has dropped, or I'm blaming wireless, for instance, as we always used to.
Yep.
But much more being proactive, that they can see that, but actually then guaranteeing, and we were working with a customer that actually wants to guarantee the wireless, for instance, around the application stack, down to their users, because they want to give them the best level of experience going. Exactly. Really important in their environment. And what about security and compliance then? So that always used to be a barrier, right? So everybody comes along with security and compliance. Everybody worries that that's then going to impact the individuals, their employees. What are you seeing at the moment?
I think it's security and compliance seem quite separate from ensuring that people receive a consistent and a good digital experience, but in reality they're not. They're very related. How so? Because when you talk about operational resilience and the ability of an organization to move on from faults, from issues, from cyber threats, okay, yeah. They're all obstacles and should be seen as obstacles that can be overcome, provided that the right technology, processes and people are in place. In terms of compliance regulations dictate what an organization should or shouldn't do. So in terms of what sort of compliance you as a customer or as an organization need to fit in with depends on who you are, what vertical or sector you operate.
So there's a new thing called DORA, right?
Yes, there is.
When I say DORA, you know what I'm thinking of, right? The little explorer running around. But obviously there's this new standard that's come out. What Are people aware of this and how that's going to impact them?
I think they are, and I think, funnily enough, they are aware of it partly because of the memorable name.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, DORA is a European Union standard, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure there'll be people watching this say, why are you even talking about something European if UK is no longer a member of the European Union? Simply because the UK always adjusts.
Yep.
You know, the Financial Conduct Authority, the National Cybersecurity Centre, everyone keeps on watching and listening. People talk to one another. So, if your organisation has a site or a presence in Europe, or you do business with your European organisation, then you'll have to comply. But effectively, DORA is about operational resilience, and it's about making sure that nothing gets overlooked when trying to provide consistently good experience to your employees. Would you share that opinion, or is that also what you see?
100%. And a lot of the customers I speak to. So, this brings me back to, from a cybersecurity perspective, right?
Yep.
Is you start asking customers what visibility they've got across their estate. And the amount of customers that we talk to that, we've got the tools and everything else, but they're only looking at part of their estate. So, coming back to your point around that whole consistent approach and end-to-end visibility is absolutely critical. And I would assume that aligns back to DORA, right? That having that end-to-end visibility around your estate and how that can interlink back into your security operations, your IT teams, to give not only the security aspects, but also the digital experience perspective, is absolutely key to align to compliancy as well.
Indeed. And the point is, it makes perfect sense if you are, in the example of DORA, a financial organization, to want to deliver a digital experience assurance to all your employees base, because it goes in your exact interests. So why do we need DORA?
Yeah.
Simply because not all organizations are the same and interpret this need in the same way. We forget that when we talk about financial organizations, we think large multinational banks, but that's not it. You have smaller companies, insurance provider, mortgage brokers. Could have a 3-people organization falling into the remit.
Yeah.
More importantly, and one of the big things introduced by DORA is it's not just companies operating that vertical, is partners, third parties.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is anyone who delivers services, your business may not have anything to do with financial services, but because you partner, you deliver services to a bank, then you have to comply with DORA, but also, funnily enough, regulators. Yeah. If you are a country or a national regulator for this type of governance frameworks, then you yourself need to make sure you comply. Talking about leading by example.
Yeah. And that will help with risk management as well, right? So that will definitely help around that. And we have lots of those organisations talking about risk and understanding risk, and they take risk within their business. But combining those together, so understanding that experience, the cybersecurity, the compliancy, that visibility, will give them that risk aspect as well.
And I have to say, I'm pleased to report that at least the majority of the customers I speak to now have that word ingrained. It's all about risk.
Yeah.
Out goes scaremongering, in goes risk.
Yes.
And again, everyone talks about risk. The challenge here is making sure that the way you calculate and determine your risk and the way you address it is correct. That's why DORA and other compliance frameworks exist, because the temptation when you handle risk is to make assumptions, isn't that?
Yeah,
you think, I have 3 security control, I have this, I have that, I have a backup, and you think you create a bit of a bubble and you think my risk is low because you calculate the risk, you're not aware of certain important variables that should go within it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had the time to have a look at DORA. One of the key points of DORA is testing. Testing means don't just assume things work. Don't just live in a world of dreams. Test your stuff. You run a backup infrastructure. You know why you do it. Test it. Don't test it at the point where you need it the most, when things are on fire, you need to recover quickly. And similar with all other things. Do you have a similar opinion on that?
Yeah, so absolutely, and Bytes obviously work with hundreds of vendors as well, right? That can help with this. But how are Bytes then helping their customers to go through not only DORA compliancy, but around visibility, around how do they approach that?
In a measured way to the target audience, because even DORA, right? DORA doesn't advise any controls to be implemented.
No.
It does not. It mandates that organization tests in a measure directly proportional to their size and their role. So if you're a large bank, DORA says you should test very, very frequently. If you're a small financial broking organization, you can test once a year.
Yeah.
So the difference that DORA makes is you must do it, however in whichever measure. So what we do is we start with a conversation with the customer and the organization. We know the organization, the assumption is, even if it's a new or a prospect, and we tailor the advice. Our benefit is, as you said, we do business with a lot of vendors and suppliers of those solutions and services, and our responsibility is to fit the right solution, the right technology to the right customer. There's no point in trying to provide an overarching multi-cloud, multinational, spanning technology to our 3-people organization, and vice versa. Yeah. So we try our best in that.
And that's where I've seen really you work really well, is that it's all around that people, the process, and the technology.
Yes.
Seppi, it's not just around going and selling you a bit of tech that's going to fix everything, which we all hope one day there's going to be a silver bullet, but there isn't, and it is around that people, process, and technology.
And that's true. But it's important, and one of the things that I stress with my customers is that, yes, you don't just buy things and automatically compliance happens. Yes, you don't just buy something, subscribe to something, and you're good. But it's important that, yes, you need the skilled workforce. That's another issue for another video. You need the processes in place, because you can't just let different minds operate independently and hope they do the same thing, hence compliance framework. But it's important also to recognize and acknowledge the technology has gone up miles. Things that technology allow us to do today, I wouldn't have dreamt of 10 years ago. I would have laughed if you told me that.
Yeah, so I mean, how things like IoT, things like AI, that must be impacting all of those components now as well.
Absolutely, but let's make sure that we don't confuse the AI that was used 15 years ago for the purpose of detecting malware in solutions. Some of us like to call that machine learning, to the more front-end AI, the generative AI, the one that talks to you, scarily so. But I think the differentiating factor is that with the explosion of cloud computing, with the explosion of innovation, our ability as human beings to process information in large amounts and produce qualitative output has increased massively. And what that happens is that the solution that exists today can deliver something that those made 10 years ago wouldn't even be capable of dreaming of. And you need that. You need that. You can't just delegate everything to people or to human beings. You need software, you need machine to facilitate and to augment.
Yeah, an organisation's got to move that way, right? And
yes.
They've got to take that into account. I think that whole shift is going to help with DORA. It's going to help with the experience aspects. That whole digital assurance piece will be driven by those conversations in the future.
Yes, and in essence, now that the tools are available, the technology is there, it's important that everyone recognizes that we have a goal to meet. Yeah. We want all of us, including ourselves as an organization, and all our partners and all our customers to get there, to get to a state where digital experience can be assumed and can be expected as the most normal thing.
100%, 100%. So to wrap this up then, how can people get in touch with Bytes to get started on that journey?
Well, that's easy. If organizations are already a customer of Bytes, they have an aligned account manager, they can reach out to them and they can ask all the things that we can offer to take our customers into that journey. If you are new to Bytes, if you're not one of our customers, then you can reach out to our website and get in touch and we will sit down together and take you. Obviously, there's a number of services that already exist, again, tailored for different organizations. We have automated assessments. We have, of course, a number of testing. DORA, remember, is all about testing. We can help customers deliver that element of testing and incident response and any other DORA requirements, or if you are in the UK and UK incline, any other PS21/3 requirement. But more importantly, we want to have a conversation. We don't just want to lecture anyone. We want to hear from you what your objectives are. How close and how quickly do you want your organization to deliver DXA, Digital Experience Assurance, and work with you into how to get there.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you very much, Giuseppe.
Thank you.